In GTA San Andreas, during the Las Venturas segment, a war breaks out between the Mafia families over the control of Caligula's casino. Here's a little backstory. The casino was shared between three families, the Leones, the Sindaccos and the Forellis. Since none of these families trusted each other, they appointed a neutral party, an independent guy, to run the place.
There are these three mob families operating here, and each of them has a stake in Caligula's casino. And some whacked-out lawyer's running it for them.
Can't you just give them a little something?
No. In addition to the usual authorities that need bribing, each one would want a slice. And I'm not about to hand over all our profits to some wise guy Italians.
That man was Ken Rosenberg, who had been kicked out of Vice City by Tom Vercetti and sent to rehab. With each family trying to seize a full control of the casino, they all start pressuring Rosenberg. When CJ visits him, Ken asks for his help in getting Johnny Sindacco out of the hospital. Ken fears that if Johnny gets killed, it would ignite an all-war between the families, one that would most likely get him killed as well. And he's right, the Forellis had already sent goons to take Johnny out. CJ manages to save him, but later when Rosenberg brings CJ to the Sindacco meat plant, Johnny, who still remembers how CJ traumatized him in their first encounter, making him be in a wheelchair, gets so scared that he has a heart attack and dies. This leads to a massive gunfight in which CJ wipes out the Sindaccos, leaving only the Leones and the Forellis with a stake in the casino. Now with the Sindaccos gone, Salvatore Leone arrives in Las Venturas aiming to seize full control. He takes Rosenberg hostage, and when CJ arrives, he tries to win Salvatore's trust by presenting himself as a cold-blooded killer. Impressed, Salvatore hires CJ for a couple of jobs. First, CJ is sent to take out a Forelli hitman flying into Las Venturas. Then in the second mission, CJ is tasked with traveling to Liberty City to assassinate Marco Forelli himself, the brother of Sonny Forelli. CJ flies over there and gets the job done, just like that. This raises the question, why it was so easy for CJ to take down the Forelli Mafia? Well, for one, CJ was an outsider, he wasn't affiliated with any Mafia family, so the Forellis never saw him coming. They knew the Leone's goons and would have been on high alert if any of them approached. But someone like CJ, he was completely off their radar. That's why he was able to walk into Mark's bistro, get so close to them and take them out without much resistance. If a Leone member had tried to walk in, they would have been shot on sight. But CJ, being a complete unknown to them, had the perfect cover for such job. Now some might argue that CJ previously worked for Joe Leone, so the Forellis should have been aware of him. But the thing is, Joe was never deeply involved in his father's operations. He mostly ran his car shop and paid CJ to steal cars, not exactly high-level Mafia business. This is further supported in Liberty City stories where Joe doesn't even make an appearance, proving that he didn't really care about his father's criminal empire, even when Salvatore was in custody. Even Salvatore himself didn't know who CJ was, so why would the Forellis ever suspect him of being associated with the Leones? It simply wouldn't make sense. That's why CJ was the perfect man for his job under these circumstances. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and liking for more videos. Thanks for watching.